In a high-stakes industry built almost entirely on appearances, carefully rehearsed scripts, and multi-million-dollar corporate images, there is one taboo topic that executives, publicists, and talent managers have spent nearly 7 years desperately trying to sweep under the rug. It is the unmentionable elephant in the room when never two of Asia's biggest megastars dominate global trending lists. For years, the narrative surrounding Wang Yibo and Zhan was kept in two tightly controlled boxes. On one side, a hyper-passionate fan culture obsessed with pairing them together as a couple, and on the other, a cold, corporate wall of complete public silence designed to protect individual commercial interests. But what if the real reason they stopped talking wasn't because of a messy personal fallout, secret jealousy, or a dramatic corporate feud? What if the breaking point was actually a shared, desperate realization that the CP, couple pairing, news culture had metastasized into something so dangerous, invasive, and destructive that remaining in contact was actively destroying their mental health, their family's safety, and their ability to be seen as actual human beings? You need to cancel your plans, sit tightly, and clear your mind for the truth revelation, because the real story behind the reason we stopped talking, and how both stars quietly broke their silence on the CP news machine behind closed doors, is finally coming into the light, and it will change the way you look at celebrity culture forever. To truly understand the breaking point, you have to look past the sparkling promotional events and dig into the dark, claustrophobic reality of what happened when their popularity hit its absolute peak. When their hit series blew up globally in 2019, the overwhelming adoration brought a terrifying side effect: the rapid growth of hyper-obsessive CP fans and ruthless, satiating stalkers who blurred the line between fictional drama and real-life obsession. In the beginning, both Yibo and Zhan treated the shipping culture as a harmless, slightly bizarre byproduct of a successful television show. They were young actors who had shared an extraordinarily tough filming experience, and they initially assumed the public excitement would naturally cool off once they moved on to different projects. Instead, the CP news machine mutated into an uncontrollable beast. Media platforms, clickbait entertainment blogs, and speculative commentary channels realized that attaching their names together in fake romance leaks, hidden symbol breakdowns, or manufactured breakup drama guaranteed millions of hits and instant financial revenue. If Yibo wore a green jacket, bloggers wrote 10,000-word essays claiming it was a secret code meant for Zhan. If Zhan posted a photo of a sunset at 6 o'clock, online forums spent 3 days breaking down mathematical theories to prove it matched Yibo's birth date. What started as lighthearted fan fun morphed into a high-pressure psychological cage. Every single outfit choice, every song playlist, every breath they took in public was dissected, monetized, and weaponized by an online ecosystem that refused to let them exist as independent human beings. The situation spiraled from annoying to terrifying during a period when obsessive trackers began physically invading their personal spaces. High-profile entertainment insiders who worked closely with their security teams during that era recall harrowing incidents that never made it into official PR press releases. Tracker fans began installing illegal tracking devices on corporate vehicles, hacking private flight manifests, and booking rooms directly adjacent to the actors' private hotel suites. On one horrifying night in Beijing, a group of extreme fans managed to breach a private residential parking garage, leaving physical letters inside a vehicle claiming they had proof the two were secretly living together. The invasion didn't stop with the stars themselves. Family members, old university classmates, and non-celebrity friends were being doxxed, harassed, and threatened online if they didn't validate the CP narrative. It was during this peak period of claustrophobic madness that a quiet, emergency consultation took place between their closest personal representatives, completely away from agency bosses and commercial sponsors. The consensus was devastatingly clear. The CP news phenomenon was no longer just an innocent fandom. It had become a toxic industry that was actively endangering lives, crippling their ability to secure serious dramatic roles, and causing immense emotional trauma to everyone in their immediate circles. As long as Yibo and Zhan maintained even a casual, polite public friendship, a simple text reply on a birthday, or a friendly wave across an industry ballroom, the sensationalist media would use it as fuel to keep the obsessive fire burning. The decisive moment came during a private, unrecorded face-to-face meeting held in a quiet office in Beijing, a meeting that both actors requested without their usual corporate entourage present. According to a senior production staffer who was tasked with securing the venue, there were no raised voices, no angry accusations, and no bitterness. Instead, there was a heavy, profound sense of shared grief. Both men realized that the only way to kill the dangerous, speculative storm, protect their families from relentless harassment, and give each other a chance at a normal life was to execute a total, absolute operational shutdown. They had to stop talking entirely. They made a deliberate, conscious agreement to go completely cold. No public interactions, no private phone calls, no subtle social media nods, and no shared agency events. They knew the public would interpret the sudden silence as a dramatic fallout, a bitter feud, or proof of a secret betrayal. They knew the media would print wild, speculative articles claiming they hated each other. But they chose to swallow that public misunderstanding and let the media paint them as enemies if it meant starving the toxic CP news machine of the content it used to stalk and harass them. Their total silence wasn't a sign that they had turned their backs on each other. It was the ultimate, protective sacrifice to shield their real lives from a hyper-obsessive public. In the years that followed, that strategy was put to an excruciating test. Watching the media spin wild narratives about their frozen relationship was tough, but keeping the silence was even tougher. When Zhan faced massive, coordinated online cyberbullying attacks during an industry storm, Yibo was forced by corporate protocols and their own pact to stay silent in public, despite the intense media pressure baiting him to make a statement. When Yibo faced dangerous physical stalking during his racing events and severe legal battles against online defamation, Zhan had to maintain strict public indifference. Every instinct as human beings told them to clear the air, defend one another, or simply tell the world to leave them alone. But they stayed disciplined, knowing that a single slip-up would reactivate the toxic media cycle that had nearly destroyed them. What makes this truth revelation so deeply moving is the sheer level of maturity and human restraint it required from two young men sitting at the absolute top of the entertainment world. Most celebrities use personal drama, public reconciliations, and messy feuds to keep their names in the news and stay relevant. Yibo and Zhan did the exact opposite. They voluntarily allowed the world to believe a fake narrative of cold distance because they valued real-world safety, professional integrity, and the protection of their loved ones over public approval. They chose to let their genuine friendship become a ghost so that they could survive as individuals. Recently, as both actors have solidified their places as powerhouse figures in cinema and global fashion, standing on their own merits without needing the shadow of their past work, the icy tension in the industry has naturally begun to thaw. They can now stand in the same prestigious event halls, attend the same awards galas, and walk the same red carpets without the media erupting into total, uncontrollable chaos. They proved to the entire industry that an artist's value isn't defined by a manufactured pairing or an obsessive media narrative, but by their talent, discipline, and dedication to their craft. The real lesson hidden beneath the years of gossip, speculative articles, and fan theories is a sobering commentary on modern fame. It forces us to ask ourselves where the line between fan appreciation and human entitlement actually lies. Wang Yibo and Zhan didn't stop talking because they grew to hate each other. They stopped talking because the world refused to let them exist as normal human beings if they stayed connected. Their silence was never a war, it was a shield. And as the truth finally comes to light, the quiet dignity with which both men carried that heavy burden stands as a permanent reminder that sometimes the greatest act of respect you can show someone in a noisy, destructive world is simply stepping back into the shadows to keep them safe. The immediate structural consequence of that deliberate, protective silence was felt across the entire entertainment ecosystem, completely altering how industry executives, media corporations, and public relations firms approach talent management. For years, the standard playbook relied on keeping stars emotionally accessible, using subtle social media interactions, vague interview answers, and strategic public glimpses of personal relationships to keep fan engagement metrics at a constant high. But when Wang Yibo and Zhan drew their absolute boundary, refusing to play into the sensationalist news cycle, they effectively dismantled the traditional publicity model. What followed wasn't a decline in their individual star power, but a massive, unprecedented paradigm shift toward complete artistic independence that forced the entire industry to adapt to their rules. Behind corporate doors, executives initially panicked. High-ranking market analysts predicted that maintaining total public separation and enforcing zero contact would cause fan engagement numbers to plummet, ultimately cooling down their individual endorsement value. Public relations strategists warned that without the continuous buzz generated by the pairing, the intense media spotlight would quickly shift toward newer, rising talent. But what the corporate executives completely underestimated was the sheer level of respect both actors earned by prioritizing their personal dignity and professional boundaries over short-term commercial hype. Instead of fading into the background, both Yibo and Zhan saw their individual market value skyrocket to unprecedented heights. Brands realized that these were two artists who couldn't be manipulated by corporate pressure or swayed by manufactured public narratives. Luxury fashion houses, major tech conglomerates, and elite auto manufacturers scrambled to sign them, not because of a past pairing, but because their individual names had become synonymous with absolute discipline, high prestige, and unyielding authenticity. They proved that an actor's longevity isn't built on sensational gossip or constant social media performance, but on the quality of their work and the firmness of their personal boundaries. This shift created a powerful ripple effect across the broader entertainment industry. Younger actors, rising idols, and entertainment agencies began observing how both Yibo and Zhan navigated the toxic side of fame. For generations, young talent in the industry had been conditioned to accept invasive tracking, relentless fan intrusion, and corporate-mandated public relationships as an unavoidable tax for achieving success. But by standing firm, taking aggressive legal action against illegal trackers, and maintaining an absolute vault of silence around their private lives, Yibo and Zhan set a brand new precedent. They showed an entire generation of performers that it is entirely possible to say no to the corporate machine, to protect your mental health, and to demand clear boundaries between public work and personal reality. Meanwhile, the hyper-obsessive CP news ecosystem, which had spent years profiting off fabricated stories, fake leaks, and calculated internet drama, began to slowly starve. When both artists consistently refused to provide even a single microscopic interaction for bloggers to break down, the speculative commentary channels lost their primary source of revenue. The sensationalist headlines claiming secret signals or hidden messages gradually lost their grip on the general public as viewers realized that both men were entirely focused on their independent artistic careers. The noise that had once threatened to drown out their lives gradually dissolved into the background, replaced by genuine critical acclaim for their individual accomplishments on the big screen and in grand theatrical productions. In the rare instances where their paths do quietly cross today at massive industry galas or high-level cultural events, the atmospheric tension that once gripped the room is completely gone. The frantic security protocols, the hyper-anxious publicists, and the delicate seating arrangements are no longer necessary. They can stand in the same room, attend the same prestigious ceremonies, and navigate the elite circles of cinema as mature, established powerhouses who have survived the absolute worst of the media storm. There is no need for fake, exaggerated displays of politeness for the cameras, nor is there any lingering trace of awkward avoidance. They exist in a state of calm, professional peace, a quiet testament to the fact that they successfully weathered the storm and reclaimed control over their own lives. Looking back at the long, turbulent journey, from that overwhelming summer explosion to the quiet dignity they maintain today, the ultimate revelation becomes crystal clear. The wall they built wasn't designed to lock each other out. It was built to keep the destructive, chaotic noise of the outside world from destroying who they really were. They sacrificed the cheap thrill of public approval and short-term media hype to protect their sanity, their families, and the integrity of their craft. The story of Wang Yibo and Zhan is no longer a story about a sensationalized celebrity dynamic or a messy public fallout. It stands as a profound, real-world case study in human survival within a ruthless, high-stakes industry. It is a story about two individuals who looked at a multi-million-dollar hype machine that was trying to consume their lives, chose to step away from the noise, and prove that real dignity, self-respect, and quiet boundary setting will always triumph over the loudest gossip in the world. The silence that remains today isn't a mystery waiting to be